So, hello everyone. Today we will discuss the chapter number 8, that is motion. In our everyday life, we often see objects at rest and others in motion. We often perceive an object to be in motion when its position changes with respect to time. However, there are the situations where the is inferred through indirect evidences. For example, we infer motion of air by observing movement of dust, movement of leaves and branches of the tree which are moving. An object may appear to be in motion for one person and stationary to the other person. For example, for passengers moving in a bus, the roadside T may be appearing to be moving backwards. Most motions are complex. Some motions may move in the straight line. Some objects may move in the straight line while others may take a circular path. So now in this chapter we shall first learn how to describe motions of an object along a straight line and then how to describe motion of objects in a circular path. So we describe location of an object by specifying a reference point. So to describe the position of the object, we need to specify a reference point which is called as the origin. Now we will study motion along a straight line. It is the simplest type of motion. The total path length covered by an object in the motion along a straight line is total distance covered by the object. There are certain quantities which are described by specifying only their numerical values. Numerical value of a physical quantity is its magnitude. The shortest distance measured in a motion along the straight line from initial to final position of an object is known as the displacement of the object. Magnitude of displacement is not equal to the total path length. The displacement for a particular time period may be 0, but the distance, that is path length, cannot be ever 0. Thus, two different physical quantities, distance and displacement, are used to describe overall motion of an object and to locate its final position with respect to initial position at given time interval. Now we will study uniform and non-uniform motion. As the object covers equal distance in equal time intervals, it is said to be in uniform motion. Time interval in this motion should be small. In our day-to-day life, we come across motions where objects cover unequal distances in equal time interval. For example, car moving in a crowded street or person jogging in a park. This motion is said to be non-uniform motions, where we have unequal distance in equal time interval or vice versa. Now the next topic is measuring the rate of motion. Different objects may take different amount of time to cover a given distance. Some of them may move fast and some slowly. Rate at which objects move can be different. Also, the different objects can move at the same rate of time. So the one of the way is measuring distance traveled per unit time. It is also known as speed. SI unit of speed is meter per second. To specify speed of an object, we require only magnitude. Thus, object's rate of motion is described in the terms of average speed, which is obtained by dividing total distance traveled by an object by total time taken by the object. If an object travels distance s in time t, then its speed v is equal to s by t. Now we will take a small example. An object travels 16 meters in 4 seconds and another 16 meters in 2 seconds. Then what is its average speed? So the total distance is 16 meter plus 16 meter, that is 32 meters. Also, the total time taken is 4 centimeter in first time interval and 2 seconds in second time interval, that is total of 6 seconds. So the average speed will be total distance divided by total time taken, that is 32 meters divided by 6 seconds, which turns out to be 5.33 meter per second. So now the next topic is speed with direction. Velocity is often termed as speed of an object moving in a definite direction. It can be uniform or variable. It can be changed by changing object speed, direction of motion, or both. When an object is moving along a straight line at variable speed, we can express magnitude in its rate of motion in terms of average velocity, which can be calculated as we calculate average speed. In case velocity of an object is changing at uniform rate, then the average velocity is the arithmetic mean of initial and final velocity of the object for a given time interval. We can say that V have velocity or average velocity can be represented as VAV is equal to U plus V by 2, where VAV is equal to average velocity, U is initial velocity, and V is final velocity. SI unit of velocity is same as that of speed, that is meter per second. So now we will take another problem. The problem is odometer of car reads 2000 km at start of trip and 2400 km at the end of the trip. If the trip took for 8 hours, calculate the average speed of the car in km per hour and meter per second. So now the distance covered by the car is 2400 km minus that of the starting, that is 2000 km. Then the total distance is 400 km and the time elapsed between this is 8 hours. So the average speed in km per hour will be 400 km upon 5 hours, that is 8 hours, that is 50 km per hour. So now if we have to find the average speed in meter per second, we simply divide this average speed by 18 and multiply it by 5, that is average speed in meter per second turns out to be 13.9 meter per second. So now the next topic is rate of change of velocity. During the uniform motion of an object along a straight line, velocity remains constant with time. In case change in velocity of an object for any interval of time is 0. In non-uniform motion, velocity varies with time. It has different values with different time instances at different position of path. So the change in velocity of an object during any time interval is 0. Acceleration is a measure of change in velocity and of an object per unit time. We can also write acceleration as change in velocity upon time taken, that is v minus u divided by t. Acceleration is positive if it is in direction of the velocity. Acceleration is negative if it is opposite to the direction of the velocity. We can say that SI unit of acceleration is meter per second square. If an object travels in a straight line and its velocity increases or decreases by equal amounts in equal time intervals, then acceleration is uniform. The simple example of uniform acceleration is freely falling body. If an object can travel with non-uniform acceleration if its velocity changes at non-uniform acceleration. Now we will take one more example. The example is starting from a stationary position, Rahul pedals his bicycle to attain velocity of 6 meter per second in 30 seconds. Then he applies brakes such that velocity of bicycle comes down to 4 meter per second in next 5 seconds. Calculate acceleration in both cases. Now in the first case, u is equal to 0, v is equal to 6 meter per second and time is 30 seconds. So acceleration will be a is equal to v minus u divided by t, that is 6 minus 0 divided by 30. So the acceleration will be 1 by 5 meter per second, that is 0.2 meter per second square. In second case, u is equal to 6 meter per second, v is equal to 4 meter per second and time is 5 seconds. So a is equal to 4 minus 6 divided by 5, which turns out to be minus 0.4 meter per second square. Here the acceleration is negative as it is in the opposite direction to that of the velocity. So now the next topic is graphical representation of the motion. As we all know that graphs provide a convenient method to represent information about the variety of the events. To describe motion with graphs, we can use the simple line graphs. First graph is distance time graph. Change in the position of an object with respect to time can be represented on distance time graph adopting convenient scale of the choice. In this graph, time taken along x-axis and distance is taken along the y-axis. When an object travels equal distances in equal time intervals, it moves with uniform speed. This shows distance traveled by an object is directly proportional to the time taken. For uniform speed, the graph of distance traveled by against time is straight line. Speed of an object thus can be represented as v is equal to s2 minus s1 upon t2 minus t1. The next type of graph is velocity time graph. Variation in the velocity with respect to time for an object moving in a straight line can be represented by velocity time graph. In this graph, time is represented along the x-axis and velocity is represented along the y-axis. If the object moves at uniform velocity, height of the velocity time graph will not change with respect to time. It will be straight line parallel to the x-axis. Area enclosed by velocity time graph and time axis will be equal to the magnitude of the displacement. For all uniformly accelerated motion, velocity time graph is straight line. Area under velocity time graph gives distance moved by the object in the given time interval. In case of non-uniformly accelerated motion, velocity time graphs can be of any shape. So now the next topic is equation of motion by graphical method. When an object moves along a straight line with uniform acceleration, it is possible to relate its velocity acceleration during the motion and the distance traveled by it in certain time interval is shown by the set of equations known as equation of motions. Those equations are v is equal to u plus at, s is equal to ut plus half at square, and third equation is 2s is equal to v square minus u square. Now the first equation, that is v is equal to u plus at, represents velocity time relation. Second equation, that is s is equal to ut plus half at square, represent position time relation. And the third equation, 2s is equal to v square minus u square, represents the relation between position and velocity. These three equations can be also derived graphically and also be represented graphically. So now before going to the topic, that is uniform circular motion, we will like to see some of the few examples which we would like to study. So now the first example is a train is starting from the rest and attains velocity of 72 km per hour in 5 minutes. Assuming that acceleration is uniform, find first acceleration, second distance traveled by train for attaining this velocity. So now here initial velocity, that is u is equal to 0, final velocity v is equal to 72 km per hour, which can be also written as 20 meter per second for our convenience, and the time, that is 5 minutes, which is also written as 300 seconds, that is also for our convenience, as well as for representing it in proper way of SI units. So the first is we have to find acceleration. So acceleration can be also written as a is equal to v minus u divided by t, that is 20 minus 0 divided by 300, that is 20 by 300, which turns out to 1 by 15 meter per second. So next one is we have to find distance, that is we will apply the equation of motion, that is third equation of motion, that is 2as is equal to v square minus u square. As we know acceleration, final velocity and initial velocity, so it will be easy for us to calculate distance by this formula. So substituting the value, here we also know that initial velocity is 0, so we can write this equation as v square is equal to 2s, that is s is equal to v square by 2a. So solving this, we would get distance is equal to 3000 meter, or we can simply say that it is 3 km. So the next example is a car accelerates uniformly from 18 km to 36 km in 5 seconds. Calculate first acceleration and second distance covered by the car in that time interval. So here uniform initial velocity is 18 km per hour, which is also written as 5 meter per second, and the final velocity here is 36 km per hour, which can also be written as 10 meter per second, and time interval here is 5 seconds. So here we will use a is equal to v minus u divided by t, and we have 10 minus 5 divided by 5. Here we get the answer as 1 meter per second square. So now the distance is ut plus, we use formula ut plus half at square. So here initial velocity is 5, time is also 5. So we So here we get distance as 37.5 meter. Now we will look after another problem. Brakes. Other example is brakes applied to a car produce an acceleration of 6 meter per second square in opposite direction to that of motion. If car takes 2 seconds to stop after acceleration, that is application of brakes, calculate distance it travels during this time. So we will write it as acceleration is equal to 6 meter minus 6 meter per second square, t is equal to 2 second, and v is equal to 0 meter per second. So to find initial velocity and distance, we would use first equation, that is v is equal to u plus at. We will, from this equation, we will substitute the values and we will get the answer as initial velocity is equal to 12 meter per second. Now to find total distance it travels during the time of application of brakes, that is we will find it by the formula s is equal to ut plus half at square. We will get, by substituting the values, we will get the answer as 12 meters. So I hope you have understood the part up till now. So now the next part is uniform circular motion. When the velocity of an object changes, we say that the object is accelerating. Change in the velocity could be due to change in its magnitude or direction of the motion, or both. So now we will assume that athlete runs at the uniform speed on circular parts of track. If the athletes move with the velocity of constant magnitude along the circular track, only change in his velocity is due to the change in the direction of the motion. Motion of the athlete moving along a circular path is thus an example of an accelerated motion. As we know, the circumference of the circle of radius r is 2 pi r. If an athlete takes t seconds to go around and cover the circular path of the radius r, the speed will be given by v is equal to 2 pi r by t. When an object moves in a circular path with uniform speed, its motion is called as uniform circular motion. Now we would see another example. Now we will take a piece of thread and tie it a small piece of stone at one end. Move the stone to describe circular path with constant speed by holding the thread at one end. Now let the stone go by releasing the hand. By repeating this activity for a few times and releasing the stone at different positions, we observe that on being released, stone moves along a straight line tangential to the circular path. This is because once the stone is released, it continues to move along the direction it has been moving at that instant. Thus shows that the direction of the motion changed at every point or position when the stone was moving along the circular path. Thus there are many more examples of the objects moving under the uniform circular motion. For example, motion of the moon and earth, satellite in circular orbit around the earth, a cyclist on the circular track at constant speed, or etc. We would find various of the examples of this uniform circular motion. Now we will focus, and here ends our chapter, that is motion. Now we will see what we have learnt up till now. So now up till now we have learned that motion is a change of position. It can be described in the terms of distance moved or displacement. Motion of an object could be uniform or non-uniform depending on whether its velocity is constant or changing. The speed of an object is distance covered per unit time, and the velocity is the displacement per unit time. The acceleration of an object is the change in velocity per unit time. Uniform and non-uniform motions of an object can be shown through graphs. The motion of an object moving at uniform acceleration can be described with the help of following equations, namely v is equal to u plus at, s is equal to ut plus half at square, 2as is equal to v square minus u square, where u is initial velocity of the object which moves with uniform acceleration a for time interval t, v is its final velocity, and s is the distance travelled by the object in the particular time interval, that is t. If an object moves in a circular path with uniform speed, its motion is called as uniform circular motion. So now we will see a couple of problems related to this chapter. So now the first problem is, an athlete completes one round of circular track of diameter 200 meter in 40 seconds. What will be the distance covered by the athlete and the displacement covered by the athlete at the end of 2 minutes 20 seconds. So as we know, the diameter is 200 meter, so radius would be 200 by 2, that is 100 meter. Time of one rotation is 40 seconds. So time after 2 meter 20 seconds is will be 2 into 60 plus 20, that is 140 seconds. So now we have to find distance after 140 seconds and displacement after 140 seconds. So as we know, velocity of a circular path is circumference by time, that is 2 pi r divided by t. So we will substitute the values that in the equation v is equal to 2 pi r by t. So here we will get v is equal to 15.7 meter per second. So as distance after 140 seconds will be velocity into time, that is 15.7 into 140 seconds, that is 2198 meters, and the displacement in 140 seconds will be, since rotation in 40 seconds is equal to 1, so the rotation in 1 second is equal to 1 by 40. So the rotation in 140 seconds is 1 by 40 into 140, that is 3.5 rotations. So therefore in 3.5 rotations, athlete will be just at the opposite side of the circular track, that is that a distance equal to the diameter of the circular track, which is equal to 200 meter. Therefore the distance covered in 2 meter 20 seconds is 2198 meter and the displacement is 200 meter. Now the next problem is, Joseph jogs from the one end A to the other end B of a straight 300 meter road in 2 minutes 30 seconds, and then turns around and jogs 100 meter back to the point C in another 1 minute. What is Joseph's average speed and velocities in jogging? First from A to B and second from A to C. So now here distance from point A to B is 300 meter and time taken is 2 minutes 30 seconds, that is 150 seconds. Distance from point B to C is 100 meter while time taken is 60 seconds. So the average speed will be total distance upon total time, that is 300 meter upon 150 seconds, that it will be turn out to be 2 meter per second. So now the average speed and velocity from B to C, we would write it as total distance upon time taken. So average speed would be 100 meter by 60 seconds, that is 1.66 meter per second. So the average velocity is 1.66 meter per second. Now the next problem is, Abdul while driving to school computes the average speed for his trip to be 20 km per hour. On his return trip along the same route, there is less traffic and the average speed is 30 km per hour. What is average speed of the Abdul's trip? Now let the distance of the school be s kilometer. Let the time to reach the school in first trip be t1 and the time to reach the school in second trip is t2. So average speed is equal to total distance upon time taken. So average speed in first trip would be s by t1. That we could write as 20 km per hour is equal to s by t1. So t1 is equal to s by 20h. Average speed in second trip would be s by t2. That is 30 km per hour is equal to s by t2. Therefore s by t is equal to s by divided by 30 plus h. Now the total time would be t1 plus t2 is equal to s by 20 plus s by 30. That is t1 plus t2 is equal to 5 seconds divided by 60, which would be s by 12. So now the average in the both trips would be total distance upon total time taken, that is 2s divided by s by 12. That means we could write it as 2s into 12 divided by s, that is 24 km per hour. So the average speed of the Abdul is 24 km per hour. So now the next problem is, a motorboat starting from the rest on a lake accelerates in the straight line at a constant rate of 3.0 meter per second squares for 8 seconds. How far does the boat travel during this time? Here we have initial velocity is equal to 0, acceleration is equal to 3 meter per second square, time is equal to 8 seconds. So now we will use the formula s is equal to ut plus half at square. We have initial velocity is equal to 0, so that ut term will be neglected. So we remain with that distance s is equal to half at square, that is half into 3 meter per second square into 8 second whole square, that is half into 3 into 64, that is 3 into 32, that would be equal to 96 meter. So therefore the boat will travel a distance of 96 meter in the given time interval. So now the next problem is, a ball is gently dropped from a height of 20 meter. If its velocity increases uniformly at a rate of 10 meter per second square, with velocity which will it strike with what velocity will it strike the ground, after what time will it strike the ground. So here we have initial velocity equal to 0, distance s is equal to 20 meter, acceleration a is equal to 10 meter per second square. So now we have to find final velocity and time. So now to find final velocity we use formula v square is equal to u square plus 2as, as we have the rest of the quantities. So v square is equal to 0 plus 2 into 10 meter per second square. As initial velocity is 0, so it would be v square is equal to 2s, which is v square is equal to 2 into 10 meter per second square into 20, that is 400 meter per second square. So v will be equal to 20 meter per second. So now to find t, we would use formula v is equal to u plus at. So 20 meter per second is equal to 0 plus 10 meter per second square into t, that is t is equal to 20 by 10, that is equal to 2 seconds. Therefore ball will strike the ground at velocity of 20 meter per second and the time taken to reach the ground would be 2 seconds. So the last question will be, an artificial satellite is moving in a circular orbit of radius 42250 km. Calculate its speed if it takes 24 hours to revolve around the earth. So here we have radius r is equal to 42,250 kilometers. Time is equal to 24 hours. We have to find speed. We know that velocity along a circular path is 2 pi r by time, that is v equal to 2 into 22 by 7 into 42,250 divided by 24 hour. That is, we can write it as v 2 into 22 into 42,250 divided by 7 into 24. After further calculation, we will calculate the speed of the given satellite as 11,065.47 km per hour. So these were the couple of tricky problems we would come across this chapter, motion. So I hope you would have learned this chapter.